Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for today's session titled Make 2021 Your Best Year Yet. The new world awaits you. And indeed, it is a new world. And as our colleagues join in, as we were just mentioning, we've got literally the world at our fingertips in front of us. 2020, if you said that previously, before last year, the first thing that would come to my mind would have been either Expo 2020 or T20 for those of us who are cricket fans and from the subcontinent. So T20 was the most exciting cricket format, and Expo 2020 was the most talked about event prior to 2020. But today, if you talk about 2020, it has become synonymous with COVID, vaccines, lockdowns, Pod 49, social distancing, remote work, and so on. So, from the huge amount of expectation that we've had from 2020 to what it has turned today, has been quite a stark difference. However, I'd like to say that 2020, I think, has been a year of immense learning. Probably more than any other year prior to it. If you think about it, and if you put it into context, we've learned so many new things about ourselves. We've learned who we are. We've learned new ways to cope with changing lifestyles, working from home, and indeed working from anywhere other than the office. Actually, some of my colleagues never really worked even when in the office. But that aside, we've had to learn to adopt to new technologies, and adapt and adopt them into our practice as the world goes digital. And most of all, we've had to learn to adapt, survive, and thrive with changes brought about by regulation. Continental has a long history with the MDRT, and we passionately support the value it brings to helping advisors up their game. One of the frequent areas that I think advisors tend to think about, and we get asked these questions quite a bit, is how do I get to the next level? And for anyone who's worked in the profession, gone and knocked on doors and done the sales side of the business, you're constantly thinking of, I'm doing $30,000 today. How do I get to 50? If I'm doing 100, how do I get to 150? If I'm doing 200, how do I get to 400? If I'm doing $500,000 of production, how do I start earning $1 million consistently? And if you've ever had that thought, pop into your head, and if you've ever questioned either yourself or your colleagues on that, my sincere advice to you is to become part of the organization that has an exemplary track record in doing so, in answering that question, the $1 Million Roundtable. You have access to world-class content, speakers, and a sharing of ideas, a culture of sharing ideas unlike anything I've seen anywhere else. The MDRT sets the standard. They really do set the standard when it comes down to development of its over 72,000 professionals and members across the globe. And as we're proud as Continental to be one of the first companies outside of the USA to exhibit at the MDRT annual meeting. We see the booths at the annual meeting, and back in 2011, we decided to commit and put keep a booth there. And we also believe in encouraging our team members, our staff, to not just attend and register for membership, but we also regularly incentivize them and encourage them to become MDRT members, to attend the conferences. And I believe we have put our money where our mouth is. And thank you for this opportunity. This partnership with MDRT and our partnership for this event with MDRT solidifies our commitment to the value and the important role that we believe MDRT plays in our profession. And I think I'd like to sort of give a quick introduction to our panel now, and we can sort of kick things off from there. I'd like to introduce first off Mr. Ashok Sardana. I hope he has joined in. I know that he was getting here, but I hope he has. But Mr. Ashok Sardana, the founder and managing director of Continental, a man who needs no introduction, I hope, for our panel and to our attendees in the UAE and elsewhere. His thoughts and views on our profession and the MDRT are well known, and he attributes a lot of the growth and ideas that he's incorporated into the business, into Continental over the years, to attending the MDRT annual meetings and from networking with many of the old timers and the members that are there. He can share stories with you about John Savage and Ben Feldman, and these are the masters of the business, as we know. He's been a lifetime member of the MDRT and a top of the table qualifier for over 25 years. I don't know how many years he's been a member. I don't think he's going to tell you that either, but I know that he's qualified TOT for about 25 years now. We also have Mr. Abhishek Datta, who, while a relatively new entrant, to the profession, but don't let that fool you. He's a passionate and a driven professional. He qualified for the MDRT from the first year of joining the profession. And over the past 4 years he's been with us, he has qualified once as an MDRT member, once as a court of the table member, and twice as the top of the table member. So he's absolutely, and I think he's taken on additional roles with the MDRT. So his experiences also would be very interesting to hear. Next, we also take this moment to welcome from Lebanon our dear friend, Mr. Naji Haddad, who is currently the MDRT Zone Chair for Middle East and Africa. Naji has been involved for over 12 years with the MDRT, both with the MDRT as an organization as well as the MDRT Foundation. And I think his work on the foundation is honestly something to appreciate. He was also selected as one of the main platform speakers at the MDRT Global Meeting in Sydney, Australia. So very eager to learn and hear from you, Naji.
Thank you, my dear.
And last but certainly not the least, we have with us our very own Mr. Amit Midbawkar, who serves as the MDRT country chair for the UAE and has been part of the profession for about, more than a decade, I think, for sure.
Yes.
And Amit has also, I don't know how many of you know this, but Amit has also authored a 6-step financial success course and a book titled Creating, Preserving, and Distributing Wealth. So certainly very, very appreciative of the time, effort, and energy that our distinguished colleagues have taken to be with us and to share their thoughts, their experiences, and views on the MDRT and the profession with all of our attendees. And before I hand over to Amit to take this event forward, I'm pleased to extend a warm welcome, and I ask all of you to join me in giving our speakers a very warm welcome on behalf of the $1 Million Roundtable and Continental. Over to you, Amit.
Thank you very much, Anselm. It's an honor to be speaking in the presence of such experts in the industry, and I'm really excited to kick off this year's webinars, series of webinars with the first event with Continental. When I was thinking of starting the first series of webinars, I couldn't think of a better name than Continental to start with the number of advisors you have and the reputation in the UAE as well. So all we plan to do today is have a motivational and learning session. As you guys all know, we have been through, or we are currently in very interesting times, which have both an element of despair and hope. And the despair part of it is, yes, we have seen a lot of loss of life. We have seen loss in the economy. We have seen problems in our businesses and challenges that we face at work as well. But I feel everything happens for the best, and there is the silver lining to every cloud. And that is one of the reasons why we started looking at doing this kind of webinars to increase engagement within the MDRT and advisory committee in the UAE, so community in the UAE. So that's the idea. Hopefully we'll do more of these webinars going forward as well. I take this opportunity also to thank Mr. Ashok for his support in organizing this webinar and all the team in Continental. Welcome to the webinar, Mr. Ashok. So what we'll be doing is, very quickly, I will be taking you through the agenda where I will be talking about the benefits of MDRT for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then I will hand over the floor to Mr. Ashok for a motivational message as the founder of Continental and a long-time stalwart in the industry. We will also have our newest TOT member, Abhishek Datta, sharing his experiences on his experience and journey with MDRT, followed by some motivational videos from Rickson and Ronak from Continental, who will be sharing their story. And finally, to close with a bang with Najee's level of energy, we'll be having Najee speak to us and share a message about hope and the way forward with MDRT. So that's the agenda for today. I will quickly start the presentation. One housekeeping tip, guys, if you get kicked out of the webinar because of internet connectivity issues, please just refresh the page and you'll be taken right back to this room. Also, please note there is a chat box on the right side where you can post your questions or thoughts or suggestions, and we'll be happy to address them during the Q&A session at the end of all the speakers' sessions, right? And if you want to say anything, we really appreciate your suggestions for future events. You can leave them in the chat box as well. Even after the webinar, when you leave your questions, they will be emailed to us and we'll address them for you. So with that, we'll start this presentation, and I'll quickly take you through the benefits of MDRT. Meanwhile, I request the other speakers to please turn off the cameras so that the slides can be seen, and then we'll come back online one by one. Thank you. Right. So the topic for today is making 2021 your best year, right? This is the agenda that we spoke about. So initially the benefits and then the different speakers speaking in turn. So the idea is the first story that I want to share about MDRT is my own story, which started, or my journey with MDRT started in 2015. Like many of the advisors I met, I was a skeptic about joining the MDRT, about paying the membership fees, and more than that, even going to the MDRT events in the US and California and all these places, right? And the person who turned me around was my colleague Glory Xavier. She said, you have to go there, and the rest is history. My first MDRT event was in 2016 in Vancouver, and I started volunteering almost from the second year onwards, and today I'm the country chair. So in this following slides, I'll be sharing some of the benefits I gained through MDRT in a pictorial format, right? So basically, this is my image of me in Vancouver in the MDRT hall with Glory Xavier. This is my first MDRT, and it is very hard to believe that it was as early as 2016. So that's when we started our MDRT journey. And MDRT has given a lot of benefits to me, including learning. Now, learning is something which people have to put an effort into. Yes, you go to an event, but you can also learn from the resource zone on the MDRT website. But there's nothing that replaces learning in the live events that we go to. Here are two pictures from two of the speaking sessions that we went to. And like Anselm said, these guys who are on screen, that who you see on the screen, they all are $1 million earners. And when they spare their hour and a half to come and speak to you and share their ideas with you, they are literally investing their money by not being in front of clients. So this is one of the reasons why MDRT is such a great success, because like-minded people have that mentality of giving back to the advisory community and sharing ideas. So both of these people you see on the screen are more than $1 million earners in the year, and they come, all of them come and share their ideas during the events. Then we also have very topical content, things like very informative seminars on insurance or investments, and we have speaking sessions. So you can see here on the left, there is a slide which talks about business protection. So there are very specific themed events, both offline in the events and also in the resource zone in the MDRT website. And finally, you get to talk with the greats. I'm sure many of you from Continental would have met Mr. Bhupinder. He is one of the speakers, Mr. Tolani, and all these guys are the experts who actually come and speak there face to face. You get to ask them questions and basically learn from them as well. So that's one of the experiences we get in MDRT. Also, you get to mingle with the best. So you all know Sandro Forte, you all know the people on the screen on the right. We get to network with them, we get to refer business to each other, and we also get to make long-lasting friendships. So this has been a benefit of volunteering in MDRT, taking part in all the events, and learning from all the greats in the industry. So these are some pictures. Again, I'd like to share. Now, the picture on the right was the Diwali event we had done 2 years ago with Lena and the Compass team and many other guys from other advisory firms as well. This is me and Naji and some of the guys from UAE. We were all in an event together, so we learned from each other there as well. So this is a very interesting event. And the hat that you see most of the guys wearing is the volunteers hat. As you might know, MDRT is an organization which is run by volunteers. And when you volunteer, you get to give the community back by your time and effort that you invest in your volunteering. And also you get to meet the best people. Finally, these are some pictures of me meeting one of my role models, Guy Kawasaki, who was one of the speakers in the 2017 event in Orlando. There's also my photo with the past presidents of MDRT, and most of these guys, they get like more than 50 or 60% of their business through referrals. So that's the power of networking, and that can only be achieved when you're part of the community. This was the pinnacle of MDRT for me, where I got to be the flag bearer for UAE on stage in front of about 15,000 people. So to represent UAE and the advisory community in the UAE was one of the biggest honors. And it only happened because I volunteered for many of the activities that we do as part of the members communication community. And this picture is worth 1,000 words. So you can see a lot of guys here from a lot of companies, Mr. Cherry and Mr. Saktiwell, Mr. Robert from Nexus, and we had a ball of a time, and this was in LA. These times that we spend with peers from our community are invaluable. We don't get to see them in UAE, but we get to spend all the time in the world with them when we are at the events. So this is one of the hidden benefits of MDRT as well. 5-minute interactions with people who are already successful can help us grow our businesses and productivity as well. So let's now, I'm done with my presentation. So I'll quickly take you through, show you a video with the MDRT benefits, which is an official video from the past Vice President of MDRT. So we'll just start that.
Hello, I'm Ross Vanderwolf, the 93rd President of MDRT. For the past 92 years, MDRT has been committed to delivering innovative ideas that generate personal and professional growth for its members around the world. Recognised internationally as a symbol of excellence in the financial services industry, MDRT is an achievement that shows dedication to strict ethical standards, outstanding client service, superior knowledge and exceptional productivity. Involvement in this great organisation delivers the motivation and inspiration that will empower you to reach new levels of success. Let's see how we can grow together through the benefits and value MDRT offers.
From the excitement of becoming a member to the test of maintaining that status, MDRT is here with opportunities to help you learn, grow, and connect. MDRT understands the industry challenges and develops materials that address your needs. At MDRT headquarters in Chicago, Illinois, USA, a dedicated staff works hard to provide you with the best resources to create business growth and enrich personal development. Some of those resources include online tools and templates to promote your membership, expert insight and content on industry topics, exclusive access to a global network of top financial professionals, MDRT meetings to network and learn from peers, programs to guide your development, and ultimately, MDRT's whole person concept promotes a healthy work-life balance. Now is the time to advance your career, rise as an industry leader, and build client trust. If you are a current or aspiring member, take the next step and engage with MDRT today by visiting mdrt.org. Let's grow together.
Great. So that was the brief video of the benefits of MDRT. I now request Mr. Ashok to share with us his story about his journey in the industry and his message for the advisory community as well. Mr. Ashok, over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
And can you see me also, or can you only hear me?
Yes, we can see you, sir.
Let me share my journey with MDRT. This is true story. When I was with Alico AIG, I used to qualify for all the conventions, and I used to qualify double qualification. So when you double qualify for your company, you think you're the top producer, you think you're the big star. Then one day, one of my colleagues, Keith Jansen, who's in Toronto now, he said, "Boss, I've heard about this $1 million roundtable. Why don't we attend?" I didn't know anything about it because that time MDRT was not really promoted in this part of the world. I'm talking about good 30 years ago. So my first conference was in Chicago. When I went there, it was an eye-opener. I thought people, I saw people, first of all, like you said, everyone is willing to share their ideas. No one is going to say, well, this is my idea. If I share with you, probably you're going to take it away. So that was one big eye-opener, the openness of everyone out there to teach you, to share how they have been successful. And I suddenly realized that I was a small fish in a big ocean. And the kind of production what these advisors were doing was mind-boggling. So that was one big turning point. Then when we started Continental about 25 years ago, I qualified for top of the table. And then I thought, now I'm the king, I've qualified for top of the table. When I attended my first TOT conference, I realized there were people doing 10 times TOT. So you realize that there is such a huge potential for us. And also the other, which was the most important thing, is the dignity of our profession. This is what they taught me, that, we have a very noble profession. We help families. So that was the biggest take for me, that I started valuing myself and my profession far more than what I'm not selling life insurance. I'm protecting the families. I'm creating wealth for the families. So, and all those advisors who have qualified for MDRT and they have not attended, they just want to fill up a form and they are not attending, I think that's a big, you're missing out on something. You have to physically attend the convention. You can't say I've qualified and I'll get to see what's happening. Abhishek, I can see you. Abhishek, how does sugar taste? Can you tell me? Can you describe? Describe sweet. Unless I taste it myself, I will not be able to share the experience. So similarly, if you want to learn about MDRT, you have to attend, and don't consider this as a cost. It's an investment that you're making in your profession. And it will be a life-changing event for you. If you decide you don't want to attend the second time, that's fine. But the first time, one time you have to go and attend. That's all. That's all from my side, and wish you all the a very successful 2021 and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashok. Thank you very much for your time. So with that, what we'll do is we'll play the next video for the productivity action plan by the current president of MDRT, who is Mr. Ian Green. After that, I will...
Amit, can I say something? As
yes, please.
Mr. Ashok said, one time MDRT, it's always will be MDRT. So I urge everyone, just taste it one time. And I can assure you, you want it every year for the end of your life.
That's very true. That's very true. So we'll quickly play the video by Mr. Ian Green on the MDRT Productivity Action Plan. After that, we will move over to you, Abhishek, for you to share your experiences. Okay? So.
MDRT has been and continues to be dedicated to helping you succeed. That's why we've developed the Productivity Action Plan. It's designed to help you qualify or re-qualify for MDRT membership in 2021 and provide you continued access to MDRT's rich collection of resources, dynamic community, and inspiring meetings. It means you're equipped with the practical tips and successful strategies you need to empower your clients to a brighter future. As part of the plan, we've waived the 2021 production requirement for all 2019 and 2020 members, meaning you only need to submit production if you're applying for a higher membership level. And with the pandemic's economic impact in mind, we've also adjusted the 2021 MDRT membership requirements to provide extra help to prior to 2019 members or first-time applicants as they want to be part of MDRT. Our aims? To take your mind off production requirements so you can focus on important things like setting your clients up for continued success, and to offer you access to a collaborative community and top-tier ideas so you can continue to adapt and innovate and persevere. And if you're one of the fortunate ones who's been able to maintain production through the pandemic, then maybe this is the year you can make the next step up to the court of the table or even top of the table. Visit mdrt.org/focus.
Great. I hope you guys all like this video about the productivity action plan from Mr. Ian Green. So I now take the opportunity to welcome our newest TOT member, Abhishek Datta, to share his experiences with MDRT and tell us a little bit about how he managed to achieve this success. Over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, Anselm, for the very, very kind words. And of course, thank you to Mr. Sardana for always saying something that you can't forget. And I think it's great that all these people are sparing some time for the benefit of all of us. And that shows the spirit of MDRT, that we are constantly willing to help each other out, even though we are at some level, we are all competitors, but we are also willing to help each other out at every single step of the way. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of pictures like Amit to show because I had way too much fun at MDRT, much more fun than Amit, and some of those pictures we can't show. But one of the things that I would like to highlight is you have to remember that all these people who show up at MDRT have achieved some success. They are already successful people, and they could sit on their high horses and say, I'm successful. I don't need to learn anything. I don't have anything to, why should I share with anyone else? Why I don't have anything new to learn from anyone else? And they still go and register every single year. They attend the events. They sign up for webinars. Naji is here. He's a testament of someone who's got so much grit and has grown so much over the last 12 years. I look up to him and everything he's done. So I think the spirit of MDRT is something that you're missing out. if you've qualified, you should definitely register every year and attend the events whenever you can. So that is something that I urge everyone at this who's attending this webinar to do. On the other hand, a lot of people ask me, how did I manage to become top of the table so soon? It's one of the first events I did with MDRT. Someone asked me this. So, I've thought about it. And, I've realized that we, as Naji says, we are in a very noble profession and we need to help each and every person that we meet. And in that aspect, you have to know what is it that you offer. And we have something that is very unique to offer. We help protect people. And we get rewarded very handsomely for it. Now, the most obvious reward that people think of is money. But money is just a construct. Money is a construct of barter, where we offer a service or a product, and in return, we are rewarded, most of the times in the form of money. But there are other things that we also gain out of these professions. We gain friendship, we gain trust, gratitude, experience, and so much knowledge that you cannot surpass that in any other profession. And at the end of the day, all the products that we sell are not unique. All that we offer that is unique is our advice and everything that we do with those products to help our clients. And that is where we have to constantly keep working on ourselves. Because if you don't offer something unique, then you're just selling a product. And that offering is what is going to take you to the next level. And when you attend the MDRT, you realize that there are so many things that you're not doing. There are so many things you can learn. There are so many challenges that, for example, Board 49 is something that we are dealing with today, and everyone's a little upset about it. But these things have happened in different countries already, and people have dealt with it. They've moved on, and they've still been successful. So we shouldn't let any of these things, hamper our progress, and we should learn from the people at the MDRT of how you can overcome these challenges. Those are my 2 cents of it, and I urge everyone who's attending this webinar that please, if you've qualified or if you aspire to qualify, please reach out to me, to Amit, or anyone on this panel, and we'll help you get along and get your membership in place. Thank you.
Thank you for the very motivational and inspirational message, Abhishek. It was good to hear this story from you firsthand. We have met on many occasions, but I think this kind of story only comes out when we are in a nice public forum where we like to share the ideas. So that's really nice. I really liked your story. So what we'll do now is we'll take a couple of minutes to look at messages and experiences shared by 2 contributors or 2 financial advisors from Continental. One of them is another and a very well-known TOT member of Continental, Mr. Rickson D'Souza, and one a relatively big new financial advisor in Continental, this Ronak Mehta. So I'll be playing these videos in sequence, one after the other. After that, we will move on to Naji's message about hope, and then we will end with the Q&A session for all of you guys. So enjoy the videos, and we'll see you online after that.
So the question asked of me is to describe how and why I got into the life insurance industry. The truth of the matter is I couldn't stand to be cooped up in an office working 8 hours a day. I felt like I needed to be outdoors, I needed to be in front of people, I needed to go and meet different people on a regular basis. So when I had my first interview for this industry, it basically came from my mentor at the time telling me that the job profile required me to meet 3 people a day. I had no ceilings or limitations on the minimum or maximum number of hours that I needed to work. And likewise, there was also no ceiling on the minimum or maximum income that I could earn, as there was no room for any red tapeism or any office politics. And this appealed to me completely. For the longest time, this was the reason for me being in the life insurance industry. And this was true till the first time I settled my first claim. The area that I specialize in is purely being a life insurance advisor to high net worth individuals. The reasons for specializing in this area versus anywhere else as an investments and savings and things like that is because I enjoy the solitude of being able to focus on delivering a proposition to the client, but I can deliver the result when things go wrong. So my aim in life is to be able to show up with a check when the worst happens. The reason I choose entrepreneurs is because I really want to be adhere to that segment only. Also because the ticket on the policy size is greater. For it to be a great balance between my family life, my health and fitness, all other sections of my life, as well as my clients, I need to be in a position to manage a few transactions on a yearly basis rather than everything. To be honest, if I had to start all over again today, I would work on identifying my right fit client sooner. I remember a part in my career when I first began that I was just taking on anybody and everybody. I was told even back then that I could choose the person I needed to work with. I didn't spend time doing that. And today, if I had to do it all over again, I would choose the right client from the beginning. I would specialize sooner, and I would say no more often to people that didn't fit the bill than I did back in the day. So there are so many other benefits of being an MDRT member. One thing is you get access to amazing, selfless people from so many different parts of the world. Ask them a question, you have a problem with regards to a client, with regards to a product, with regards to a concept. Even with regards to your personal life, if you can reach out and develop those relationships, it's amazing how many people will reach back out to you and write and help out. That's one thing. The second thing is the opportunity to learn from members all over the world and to be able to implement those solutions in your workspace, in your market area. There's no fear of competition. If I'm talking to a client, I'm talking to an advisor somewhere in Canada, and I've got some issues around specific things, if I talk to them, they're not thinking about, oh my God, Rickson's going to implement this solution in my marketplace. So there is a lot of freedom over here where people discuss issues and market concerns, and they'll learn. And I think this is a huge thing. The other thing that I look at MDRT is an opportunity to be of service is huge. Whether you're taking part in a committee, whether you're part of a group within MDRT, a study group or content generation or whatever the case may be, you get an opportunity to be of service outside your regime of work and money, right? The other one that I love so much about MDRT is the opportunity through the foundation to make a difference and give back. What I love about the MDRT Foundation is that they pre-vet all the charities that they bring to the foundation, to us members. To be able to make some kind of an impact through there is just a phenomenal release. And finally, of course, the opportunity to mentor advisors in other parts of the world. I've been reached out to from various people, as I have reached out to people in the past to mentor them and trying to get a couple of things done. Now, this could be directly through the MDRT mentorship program, or it could just be via emails and sharing. So these are reasons why I think being part of this kind of organization is critical, especially in times like this. You know, we're talking about a situation that the world has not seen before. Just being in a position to reach out to somebody and just share and vent and understand and learn and grow right now makes you feel part of a greater community than the secluded spaces we may be in right now. All the best. And if you're not a member yet, sign up and become a member.
Right, so that was a great video and message by Rickson. So next we'll be sharing a video by one of the advisors, Ronak Mehta in Continental, and his experience in his relatively short advisory career of 4 to 5 years in Continental. So let's hear it from one of the most upcoming and motivated people I have met.
Hi, my name is Ronak Mehta. I'm working with Continental Financial Services since 2015. So this is my 6th year in a row. I specialize in portfolio management. That's for wealth creation for my clients. So I always say this to everyone that your existing client is your gold mine. So I feel that, if you have done a great job for your client in the last 4 or 5 years, they will definitely come back to you and give you good references. And a lot of people in MDRT also say same thing. If you've been in the industry for 5 years and if you've done a great job, 50% of your business will be on an automated mode. And I have realized over a period of time, with time, that most of my business comes from existing clients. Like it's been since 2016 that I have not picked up a phone and made a cold call to any client to acquire a new client, because all my business has been coming for the last 4 years from some or other of existing clients of mine. So that is something that has been really working. I will actually say something which Albert Einstein says, that, once you stop learning, you start dying. And I'm a firm believer of this quote, because what I feel is no matter how much time one has spent in this industry, or it could be any industry, you will always have some room to learn new ideas. And we are always here that, people either learn from their mistakes or people learn from their experience. Therefore, I feel there can't be a better platform than MDRT, where you have thousands of successful veterans from this industry who are ready to share their experience and mistakes, which they have experienced over the last 2 to 3 decades, and what has worked for them and what has not worked for them. So yes, I would say that I'm proud to be a part of this group and I have the access to such great MDRT qualifiers from whom I can learn and implement new ideas during the current challenging times. So that's been fantabulous experience for me since I've been a part of MDRT.
Right. I hope those series of videos were a good dose of motivation. God knows we all of us need it in these times which are changing all the time for all of us. And the next message is from Naji, the most energetic person in MDRT I know, who has a level of energy that is above everybody that I've ever met. So Naji, over to you.
First of all, thank you, Ahmed. But let me tell you something. These 2 videos is excellent message, and I think you should share it with MDRT headquarters, because this is a great job about why being an MDRT. Really, this is an excellent, and I think I'm seeing that we have Lina with us and Sadiq, and I don't know if Sanjay also. Guys, we need such same video from you, because I think MDRT, they will like it big time, and for all the members all around the world. First of all, let me thank you, Ahmed, really, and MCC committee, UAE, Abhishek, and all the team for putting all this together. It's not easy with volunteering job. Many of the members, or maybe an agent or brokers or financial advisor who are MDRT member or not, they don't know what the time all MCC they put as volunteering job, because to give back to this wonderful association that changed their lives for many people all around the world, and it changed my life as well. Let me tell you first where I came from. Thank God I'm coming from a very Tony Gordon, he tell me, Neji, stop saying from a poor family, start saying from a modest family. But let me tell you, no, I'm coming from very poor family, because till now at age of 45, whenever I'm open the fridge in my house, you know that everything what happened when you are a child, it will go to your subconscious mind. And when I open the fridge in my house and I see there is food, I say, thank God, because many times, many years in my life, me and my brother and my sister, we were opening the fridge in our house and we couldn't see anything to eat. I came to the insurance business in 2002. I was from the banking sector. And I told myself, Neji, join this profession because you can make lots of money. There is commission. You can sell policies, make commission. It doesn't mean that I wasn't believe in life insurance. I believe in at that time, but all my focus is all about selling and make commission. Till one day, I called a client of mine and she was crying. And to cut it short, the story, she told me, I asked her, why you're crying, Bella? She said, we just came from a funeral of my best friend husband. I asked her, do I know him? She said, I don't think, Naji, but wait a minute. Yes, I gave you his number. Please tell me that he bought life insurance. Unfortunately, I met him 7 times, and all my focus at that time, it's all about numbers, illustration. And he told me, prepare for me the $1 million policy. And as a new agent, $1 million, 20,000 premium, this is a good policy, because I was thinking about the commission. And he passed away, and he didn't take any of my advice or any insurance. And his family, they went bankruptcy because he had a big loan, and the bank, because they are a charitable association, they put their hand on everything he owned. And his wife, she had to work as a secretary to feed his child, Anthony. From that time, I told myself, if anyone say no to me, it's my problem, it's not his problem. And I had to start working on myself. So I started reading books, attending seminar, sit with the top people in my company, in my team, asking them why people they buy from you. And after I heard about Anthony Robbins, the #1 motivator in the world, and it was my first turning point in my life. So I had the ticket, and I traveled to London, and many of my friends, they told me, Naji, you're traveling to London to attend a seminar in English, and you know nothing about English. Why you are spending your money? I told them I'm going there to take the energy, and this is what happened. And at the same year, in 2006, I heard about MDRT. I asked them, what's MDRT? They told me this is association where the top people from all around the world, they meet every year to share ideas and take this energy and this motivation. I said, okay, let's go. But they said, Najib, no, wait a minute, there is some qualification. But I said, okay, how much qualification? They told me 200,000 at that time. I still forget what's the number at that time. I said, okay, between how many people? I said, no, every person, they should get this qualification. And I was so far from this qualification. But they told me, no, Najib, there is aspirant program, where if you reach the 50% of the qualification, you can go there as aspirant. And I work hard, and I closed the year as aspirant. And the first time in 2006, I went to Bangkok as I wasn't a member, I was an aspirant. And you know what I saw at that time? 7,500 people from all around the world. Whatever nationality you want, you can see there. Old guys, old women, young guys, they are waiting on the door to open, 7 o'clock in the morning. For what? And when they open the door, they start running into the hall. I told myself, I know this, I saw this before. When I was in school, we were waiting on the door to open, to run at home. This is the first time in my life I see people that are waiting on the door to open the door, to run, to sit in the front. Why? To take notes and to learn. And there I saw 20% of the time they talk about selling life insurance or good advice. 80% of the time of the conference, I see they talk about the whole person concept and how to have a balance in our life. It's not the first time I told myself, this is a conference for insurance, or talking about the ethics and the values and the mission that we can do in our society, in our company, in our country, and what we can give back to our all the clients and our portfolio. You know, I saw people sitting in the front, top people, past president, TOT, Tony Gordon, Sanjay Tulani, Bruce Etherington, whatever you name it. People, they are sitting in the front and they are taking notes. I was looking, these guys, they're still learning. And you know, I asked Solomon Hicks the first time I met him, Solomon, I was seeing you, you're taking notes. And he told me, you know, Naji, MDRT is the place where you can learn, earn, and grow. And when you stop learning, you stop earning. And this is where I saw the people. And after I saw about PJA and volunteering and to give back to society. I'm so sorry, I don't want to take a lot of your time, guys. But if you are in this profession and you want to stay in this profession, especially whatever you are working in UAE, in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in Sharjah, I don't know where you are working. There is no tough times. In this business, tough times don't last. Tough people do last. Because I experienced this. Maybe some of the agent or around the world, they see maybe he's top of the table because he's working in a country that they are a good country and people they like life insurance. Let me tell you that I am from a country that I think every year we have some adventures, and this year or 2020 we had many adventures. So whatever you want to ask. Whatever you want, you can find in Lebanon last year. Capital control, haircut, no president, no prime minister, a big explosion, COVID-19. Till now, and sorry if I've lost the connection, maybe the electricity will stop in a minute or a second on another. We're still working in a country that till now, the government, they don't give us a good electricity, good Wi-Fi, and we have a lot of problems. So it's not the family you are coming from. It's not the company you are working for. It's not the university you are coming from or the country you are working. It's all about you and what you want to do. And I advise you guys, if you are in this profession, be on the top. Be and raise your standard, and to raise your standard, to have this benchmark, to have MDRT qualification, because why not? If there is a people in my profession, in my country, in my company, they are working and they are MDRT member and they have this profession and this standard, why not me? And I wish you all the best to every one of you. And thank you for this time and giving me the opportunity to share with you my experience. Thank you, Ahmed.
That was one of the most motivational speeches, Naji, that I ever heard. So thank you very much for sharing that speech with us. By the way, we have been talking before the webinar about study groups, and you were to share with us the successes you had in Lebanon in arranging study groups between the advisors in the Lebanese advisory community. So what I've done in the background is I've been running a poll here, which is an anonymous poll, which basically asks the question, would you like to be part of an intra-company study group to exchange ideas on sales, marketing, and practice management? So happy to report that almost everybody says that they would like to be part of this kind of group. I know we have been discussing it also with Mr. Nabil from Continental. So I hope we can take this idea forward of doing the study group itself on a regular basis. We will discuss the details of this after the webinar, but this is one of the initiatives that we are planning to conduct between now and September for the rest of the year. So, by the way, guys, before we move to the Q&A session, please notice the section on the right where I have been sharing the MDRT qualification requirements. And just to summarize the whole webinar, please note that for last year's qualifiers, meaning those who have already having an MDRT membership, you don't really need to produce or show any production letters from your company. So if you have an existing qualification, yes, all you have to do is go to mdrt.org/apply and then renew your membership. That's it. And if you, let's say, are moving from MDRT to COT or COT to TOT, that's the only time you really need a production requirement letter to be submitted. Moreover, for those of you who are aspiring to be members, those who want to be members for the first time, please note that the production requirements have been significantly reduced. For example, if you want to qualify on gross income basis, it's gross commission basis, it's only 61,000 as compared to 95,000 in the past years. So if you have any questions related to MDRT membership, please leave them in the chat section on the right. We also have programs for agency managers where agency managers can benefit and go to these events as well. And there is a separate resource section purely for agency managers also. And finally, I would like to close with one reminder about the deadline for the membership renewals. Guys, I have seen many of the top advisors here also being so busy, especially during this pandemic time, have forgotten to renew their memberships. Guys, please do that before the 28th, otherwise the price goes up by another $200. So I urge all of you, if you haven't done so already, please renew or apply for a membership before the 28th of this month. And now we can move on to Q&A. If Naji, you want to say something?
Yeah. Thank you, Amit. You know, I received any questions on the private chat here, and talking about what the changes that we have now in UAE and all this point. Guys, let me tell you something. You are not the first and not the last country that the conditions is changed about this profession. Many companies, many countries before they had this situation. In Australia, they changed the business into fee-based practice. In England, many years ago, they stopped the commission. The government, they stopped the commission. Guys, whenever there is any changes in any conditions, the best things to do, it's not to step back, it's to go forward, to make more action, more activity. It's to be becoming proactive. Let me tell you, whatever the situation, changing the rules, changing the conditions, changing the commission rules, whatever the changes, our job is to meet with the people and take more action to help more and more people and to grow and to be proactive in this situation. Especially for the MDRT, all the situation that happened in Lebanon, from war from time to time, to many problems, that every year I put a target to be a TOT, sometimes to be an MDRT member. I'm not TOT. This year, my target is to be TOT. So every year I put a target, and sometimes maybe I need to do a double action. And MDRT is the place where I can get many ideas. You know, the first message I received when there is the Hiroshima bomb in Beirut in August 4, it was from my friend and my brother Kobe's Klein from South Africa. The second call or message I received from Sanjay, from Attila, from many people all around the world. Sister and brother from Cyprus, from Greece, from all around the world. And they start sending me positivity and energy. And you know that because MDRT, I stay safe because we were attending the annual meeting of MDRT, and I told my team, let's go to hotel next to my office, because if you see what happened in my office, it destroyed completely. And I was in the hotel, in a room, underfloor, watching MDRT annual meeting, and thank God because of MDRT, because it happened the day that we have the MDRT global and annual meeting. Guys, this changes, it will stay, and it will happen from time to time, from country to country. Whatever you need to focus on is to keep doing your job on a daily basis and aim high and help people and be proactive. Sorry, Amit.
No, it was a fantastic message, Nabil. We have a question from one of the advisors in the UAE. She says that post BOD 49, how many financial advisors are still doing business? It's a very valid question. Many of us face existential crises and dilemmas during this interesting time. I still remember back in March 2020 when we had this lockdown where we couldn't even step down, and I used to cycle in the garage hiding from people to get some exercise. I was thinking whether we will ever go back to business or not, and whether I will be able to stay in the country or not, or maybe I'll go broke as well. So that was some of the thoughts because of the severity of the lockdowns that we had in UAE as well. But I'll tell you something. My last event that I attended before the lockdown was in Sydney, Australia, in the global conference. And one of the benefits I got out of volunteering, where I was doing some fundraising for the MDRT Foundation for one of the charities, and next to me I was Tim Claremont from the US, and Tim was a TOT member many times over, and he was doing the line of business that I am in, which is assets under management for clients in investments. And I asked him, Tim, how much money do you manage? He said about 200 million. And I said, how do you charge your clients? He said, I charge them a fee of 1% at the start of every year. So basically he wakes up in the start of the year with an income of $2 million, right? And at that time, the idea of fee-based planning came into my head. And then during the pandemic, it was driven home. Basically, we realized that, okay, yes, the BOD 49 is around the corner. Now we need to prepare for times when commissions might be a thing of the past. I've also had conversations with many advisors, some from Continental also, and from other companies who have moved to fee-based planning. And it is a reality that we have to face sooner or later. We have to make that change in our business where our existential or the thought of leaving the industry should not be based on the amount of commission we earn, but the amount of services we provide. And because we provide a service which is greater, if not equal to other noble professions like the medical profession, for example, we have to charge a fee like them. So there are some minute changes that we need to make, and definitely we will overcome all the challenges that we're facing today. This too shall pass. So that's the final message. And I learned a lot during this webinar, and also while organizing this webinar when I was recording the videos with some of the advisors from Continental. So the discussions we had were very fruitful as well. So my message, please don't think that this is a problem where you have to leave the industry, where you will not be able to come out of this problem. Just think about how you can adapt your business or business model to survive and thrive in these interesting times. In ending, for those who don't know, the S&P 500, which dropped like 30% in March when the pandemic was at the peak, is up 64% today from those times. So people who did not panic from my clientele or people who added money at that time made serious amounts of money. So the reality is that regardless of whether we earn commission or whether we charge a fee, there are certain milestones which won't change in our clients' lives. They all need their income to be protected. They all need to secure their children's future. They all need to have financial independence during retirement years. So if these goals are fixed in time and sooner or later these people are going to hit these milestones, why should we be worrying about how we are going to make the money? We can just make the move from commissions to fees. If we can communicate our message or value with a passion, then our clients are willing to pay those fees. So I hope that was a reasonable answer for that question. I think we are done with the questions today. There's one more question here from Jitendra. When would the 2022 MDRT production requirements be announced based on 2021 production? Naji, I believe this has already been announced, isn't it?
Already, they can see all the, and you know, I want to tell also everyone, that this is a good opportunity this year because of COVID-19. MDRT, they make some reducing on the qualification. That grab this opportunity and invest on yourself, because as Mr. Ashok said in the beginning, this is an investment. Because every one of us, we are a business people. We are working as a profession. We are not employee. So that's why we need to invest on ourselves. And MDRT is the best place where we can invest, and we can get the ideas and the motivation and the inspiration and the way of working. And this year already MDRT, they have this reducing of the qualification to grab the opportunity and benefits from being a member before end of February, because beginning of March you will have to pay a penalty if you to be a member. So grab this opportunity, invest on yourself, and you will see after a period of time. You know, let me share one thing. I was volunteering in MDRT store in 2015 in New Orleans, in the MDRT store. MDRT store is the place where you can come and buy the books, the CDs and DVDs of all the MDRT materials. And there is a Jack from Canada at age of 65. He was working with us as volunteering. And you know, the second day I saw him sitting alone, and he was crying. I came to him, Jack, what's the problem? Why you're crying? He said, you know, Naji, I was being qualifying for the last 24 years. And this is the first time that I paid and I came to attend the meeting. I'm crying because I'm seeing what I was missing the last 24 years. What I missed for the last 24 years, not coming and seeing all these 4 days and having all this good time with the lots of people from all around the world. So every one of you guys, I tell you, don't miss this opportunity to be a member. And not only being a member, it's all about attending and taking all these benefits from MDRT.
So before we move to the closing message from Anselm, let's take one last question from Sadiq Dhirani. Is the TOT requirement for this year $366,000? Sadiq, Naji, would you like to answer that?
What was the question?
Is the TOT requirement $366,000? I believe he's talking about gross commissions.
Yes, this is gross commission, and I think this is about the income. Yes. So a person should be already a member to qualify on the income. But if a new person, he needs to qualify on the production.
So I'll just clarify. Yes, it is 396, Sadiq. Good question. It's not 366, but 396 for commission. Income is slightly higher. I can't recollect what it is, but the commission is 396, if I remember.
Yeah. So guys, keep the questions coming. In the interest of the time of all the speakers in the webinar, we will end with Anselm's closing message. But if you have any questions, please keep them coming and we will answer them via email for you. And please leave us the suggestions for future events, what you like, what you didn't like, and areas of improvement as well. So Anselm, you can close the session with your message, and then we'll call it a day.
First off, and thank you, Amit, for putting this together. Thank you to Abhishek and to Naji and to Ashok and Boss for the amazing amount of energy that you brought to the session, for sharing your ideas, your thoughts. It is both impressive and humbling to be able to learn and understand the journeys that each one of you have taken. In addition, I'd also like to thank both Rickson and Ronak for sharing their message. Very well put together videos, very well thought out messages. I thought they were great. And Naji, your suggestion is certainly very, very valid with regard to, maybe that should be shared at the main MDRT video library.
100%, because This is great message, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I also, you did mention and we did recognize and point out that attending with us today. I'd like to give a shout out to Sadiq, to Lena, to some of our other colleagues who are from the industry. Thank you for joining in, and you've been there on the MDRT stage in previous years and continue to be there on the MDRT stage. Do participate. It is always good to have members from our community to inspire the next generation. With that, I'll just leave with one thought, and I think a couple of our speakers alluded to this. The MDRT is an investment. It is an amount, roughly equating to about 2,000 dirhams if you look at it from a membership perspective. You are a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. That 2,000 dirhams, and Ashok can testify to this, because I've heard him say this so many times, that some of the best ideas, some of the learnings that he's had over the years have actually helped and contributed to the growth of Continental into what it is today. So that investment of $2,000 will deliver returns that sometimes you may not be able to imagine. Don't hesitate to make that commitment. Sometimes in a year like this, it may feel difficult. It may feel that it's something that I need to part with that is dear to me. But the number, I've attended the MDRT from 2011, so it's about 8-9 years now. But I definitely would encourage you to make that investment. The amount of learning and the amount of benefit you will get for your business is going to be immense. Thank you again. I'm conscious of time. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for our speakers. I wish you a very blessed day and a fantastic week ahead. And we hope to see all of you at the MDRT annual meeting with us. Take care.
Thank you very much, all of you guys, for attending. Stay safe and God bless.